Have you ever seen arrogance meet fate in the skies? What if a man who thought he owned the world learned, midair, that destiny doesn't care about your bank account? Stay till the end of this story. It will break your heart, make you believe in karma, and remind you why kindness still matters. And before we take off, make sure to like this video, subscribe to Goodness Corner, and hit the bell icon, because the story you're about to hear might just change how you treat people forever. Leonard Hayes, the name alone carried weight in the business world. A self-made millionaire, only 38, and already known as the man who never waited. His empire stretched across real estate, luxury cars, and high-end resorts. But with his success came something else, a dangerous arrogance. That morning, Leonard rushed through the bustling Heathrow airport, his designer shoes clicking against the polished floor, sunglasses hiding the exhaustion in his eyes. He hated airports, hated delays, and hated anyone who stood in his way. His assistant had messed up his booking, he wasn't in first class. Instead, he was in business class, seat 2A. For Leonard, that was unacceptable. Unbelievable, he muttered, glaring at the boarding pass. I pay people 6 figures and they can't even get me the seat I want. He stormed toward the boarding gate of Flight 917, London to New York, ready to make someone's day miserable. The boarding queue was long, filled with passengers holding coffee cups and passports. Leonard ignored every polite smile and cut to the front. Excuse me, he snapped, flashing his platinum card at the flight attendant. I don't stand in lines. The attendant, a young woman named Clara, tried to smile. Sir, we're boarding by. I know how it works, he interrupted, sliding his sunglasses down. Seat 2A. Make sure nobody touches it. She nodded awkwardly as he strutted down the jet bridge. But the moment Leonard stepped onto the aircraft, something inside him shifted, not that he realized it yet. Because in seat 2A, already sitting, was a young woman, quietly gazing out the window. Her long brown hair was tied in a loose ponytail, and her expression was calm, almost too calm for the chaos of boarding time. Leonard froze. His seat. Someone was in his seat. He took a deep breath and forced a smile. Excuse me, miss, but I believe you're in my seat. The woman turned to him, her blue eyes soft but unbothered. I don't think so. 2A, correct? Yes, Leonard replied, lifting his ticket. 2A, it's right here. The woman held up hers, 2A. Same seat. For a moment, both of them stared, realizing something was wrong. Leonard sighed dramatically. This is ridiculous. There's clearly been a mix-up. I'll have it fixed. He waved down a flight attendant. Excuse me, there's someone in my seat. The attendant checked the tickets and frowned. That's strange, both say 2A. I know, Leonard said sharply. So which one of us should move? Before she could respond, the woman spoke, gently, but firmly. It's fine. I can move if that makes things easier. Her tone disarmed everyone. She wasn't defensive. She wasn't angry. She was just, kind. But Leonard's ego wouldn't let it end there. No, I insist. I paid for this seat, and I'm not the one who made the mistake. Sir, the attendant began carefully, this is clearly an issue with the system. We can find another spot. I'm not sitting anywhere else, Leonard barked. Do you have any idea who I am? The young woman sighed softly and stood up. It's fine. You can have it. She picked up her bag and moved to another empty seat nearby. Leonard sat down, triumphant. But something about the way she moved, quiet, graceful, with no anger, lingered in his mind. The plane filled, passengers settled, and the engines hummed to life. Leonard scrolled through his phone, muttering under his breath. People these days. No respect. Yet, as he adjusted his seatbelt, he noticed the woman again. She was helping an elderly man across the aisle with his luggage. She smiled warmly, tucking the bag overhead and handing the man his walking stick. That smile, genuine and unforced, made Leonard look away. It was the kind of kindness that embarrassed him, the kind he'd forgotten existed. Minutes later, as the cabin crew prepared for takeoff, the pilot's voice came over the speakers. "Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is your captain speaking. We'll be departing shortly once final checks are complete." Leonard sighed impatiently. Finally. But just as the plane began to taxi, there was a sudden commotion near the back. A flight attendant's panicked voice came through, "Captain, we need to stop. Medical emergency." The engines powered down. The plane halted abruptly. Leonard frowned, annoyed. What now? The flight attendant hurried past him, straight toward the young woman who had given up her seat. She was kneeling on the floor beside the elderly man she had helped earlier, his chest rising shallowly, eyes fluttering. Without hesitation, she began performing CPR, calm and focused. "Call for oxygen. Hurry," she shouted, her voice commanding, "steady." Leonard froze. The cabin filled with murmurs and gasps. The attendants rushed in, passengers craned their necks, and the pilot's voice returned, "We're grounding the flight. Medical emergency on board. Ground support, please respond immediately." The millionaire who had fought for a seat was now watching in silence as the woman he dismissed was saving a stranger's life. Her hands moved rhythmically, her eyes full of quiet determination. When the paramedics finally boarded and took over, she stepped back, breathing heavily, tears glistening in her eyes. The old man was alive, barely, but alive. The cabin erupted in relief and applause. Leonard just sat there, speechless. As paramedics wheeled the man out, the captain approached the woman. "Ma'am, that was extraordinary. You just saved his life." "Thank you." She smiled faintly. "Just doing what anyone would." The captain shook his head. "Not everyone could have done what you did. Are you a doctor?" She nodded humbly. "Cardiologist. I was on my way to New York for a conference." Leonard's jaw nearly dropped. A cardiologist. The woman he'd humiliated for a seat, a literal lifesaver. And then, as if fate wasn't done teaching him, the captain continued, "Miss Sterling, your father will be informed. I'm sure Mr. Sterling would be proud." Leonard's eyes widened. Sterling. As in William Sterling, one of the richest men in the world. The billionaire behind Sterling Industries, the very man Leonard had spent years trying to impress. He couldn't breathe for a moment. The woman he'd argued with, the one who gave up her seat, stayed calm, saved a life, was the billionaire's daughter. The billionaire whose signature could make or break Leonard's next deal. And fate had seated them side by side. As medics cleared the aisle, the pilot announced that all passengers needed to deboard temporarily while the cabin was sanitized and protocols followed. Leonard stood there, watching her from afar as she helped gather her things. His arrogance was gone, replaced by something heavy, unfamiliar. Guilt. He approached her hesitantly. "Listen. I didn't know who you were." She looked at him, calm as ever. "You didn't need to know who I was to treat me kindly." Those words hit like thunder. She didn't yell. She didn't embarrass him. She just walked away, carrying her simple leather bag and the quiet power of someone who didn't need money to prove her worth. Leonard sat back down, staring at the empty seat, 2A, the seat that had started it all. For the first time in his life, he realized he had everything money could buy, except decency. And as he watched her disappear through the jet bridge, he whispered to himself, "Maybe fate grounded this flight, to wake me up."